Welcome to Digital Marketing ROWhy, the podcast that connects marketing to your business's revenue and covers everything you need to know to stay up to date in this crazy digital marketing world.
Welcome to Digital Marketing ROWhy. I'm your host, Shannon Allen, and I'm joined by my co-host and my favorite person, Krystal. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Shannon. How are you?
I'm good. We had a great meeting yesterday with the team, with the sales team, the content team, the campaign team.
I know. It was so nice to, get everybody together in person.
Yes.
I love when we get to do that. It was one of those meetings that you walk away from and you're like, heck yeah, let's go.
I know. So those that don't know, we have people coming from different parts of Michigan, way up by Grand Haven, Traverse City. We have an employee out in Wisconsin. We have people up in Fort Wayne. So we're driving far. We're all meeting here in Mishawaka at our company headquarters. And all the managers and myself did the training, and it was, we are running, right? We're running. We're not walking.
Yeah.
We're gonna take on the rest of 2025. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We got some great things happening at FDS. We're gonna incorporate some cool things with our podcast. Some kind of take it on the road, right, Krystal?
Yeah,
you ready
I'm
for
super
it?
excited about that. So if you're listening, you might have a chance to come meet us.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we're going to do some training for everybody in a sense. You have to register, but we're going to do that. We're going to network. We're going to have a cocktail. We'll get to know people. We want everybody there to ask the questions they want to ask, right?
100%. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So 2025 is going to be a great year.
So stay tuned. We'll keep talking about it as we have more of the details to lay out.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
All right. We're out of first quarter. We're already into second quarter, right? Yep. Almost at the end of the first month here now.
Which is crazy.
It's very crazy. So the topic we're going to talk about today is AI, which is very much in everybody's conversation, I would say, in business. I hear it more and more than ever before. Wouldn't you agree?
I hear it. I mean, almost every single client meeting that I'm in, they're talking about AI, or we're talking about it.
Yeah, especially our own business. And we'll talk about that in here. But really, today's podcast is about the practical ways to use AI in marketing in your business and just some simplistic things to think about.
Let's lay the groundwork. Let's start with the foundation. What is actually happening with businesses using artificial intelligence technology, and is it really the game changer that everyone is claiming that we see all the headlines say?
Well, I'm going to take us back a little ways because you and I are both users of it, and I think we've only advanced what we're doing. It was a year ago, I went to the Burrell Conference in Miami, and it was a huge topic. The main point of it was AI, right? We had one of the speakers was the CEO of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, and I learned so much in that. So I came back ready to learn more. And I really hadn't dipped my toe into it other than a few testing things. So we formed an AI committee here at Federated Digital and Federated Media together, our radio group as well. You're on that committee.
I am.
And really, we were doing it every month because we just wanted to see what everybody was doing. So we realized the value of what AI was going to bring and what we could do. And it's only gotten, our sales team has completely transformed their prospecting, really helping them, aiding them, just because it saves you time. And for some of us that are really overthinkers, and believe me, I can be one of them, it can make a difference. The campaign team, we've introduced some of that. And really, like on the sales side, instead of spending hours upon hours doing research, it can be all at your fingertips, right?
There's tools out there like Perplexity that will make your research so much faster, and then you still have to double fact check everything.
Oh, yeah.
The nice thing about like a tool like Perplexity is that it makes it very easy because you're clicking the links.
Right. Well, and our team uses Claude. There's lots of options. Really, when I chose between what I wanted to use in chat, I looked at the free versions and I looked at the paid versions. When I really need to strategize and I really need language to be a certain way, I found that Claude worked better for me, but I think everybody has their own preference. Campaign team also utilize it to really drive home the why behind the data and to help pull statistics, right? A lot easier than just surfing the web and trying to find statistics. Claude now actually incorporates your web searches. It's a game changer, and it's only going to continue to change. So really, the biggest surprise that we had to make sure everybody knew about is that Claude isn't here to replace somebody's job. It's number one, to enhance it. And number two is to really make it so that you can take on more. You might not be running out and hiring as often, but I believe there'll come a day in our company that we will have somebody that's almost like a sales assistant or fulfillment assistant that is their entire job is AI, right? We let somebody help feed the AI with things that would work really well.
The content team uses AI in a couple of different ways. We use Claude as well. I feel the same way. I feel like it's just more conversational. Yep. And we use it for brainstorming. We use it for giving us ideas for getting started on captions for social media. I use a tool called Descript to help me edit this podcast.
Yes.
And it uses AI to give me an automatic transcription, and then literally I'm just deleting pieces of the script and I don't have to listen to the entire piece of audio. And that's a game changer.
It is.
From 3 hours to edit this podcast sometimes to 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game changer.
It is. Well, I'm going to give you some stats because this is really why I wanted to do the podcast. Is I was doing some research and I found that studies show that 83% of marketers now use AI tools, which is up from 29% in 2022. So this is a fast adoption. This is faster than my new teenager is picking up anything that's going on TikTok, right? In addition, small businesses are finally catching up. Some of our clients who've jumped on the AI train are seeing 30% lower customer acquisition costs by utilizing some of this.
Wow.
And remember when AI meant clunky tech that never works right? People are using it to write emails to their garden club. So we might use it more than we probably could just use our thinker, right?
Yeah, but sometimes we just really get tired of talking the same thing over and over again to our garden club.
Yes. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I might sometimes say, what are ways I can get my daughter to clean her room faster?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I've used it in my personal life to help me set up like organizational tasks, just like keeping on top of chores.
Yeah, I've helped it build a schedule for me. Yeah, definitely.
It's really helpful. So we've mentioned a couple of tools, but there's millions of tools out there, right? That anybody can use. But which ones are actually worth the time? Which ones would you recommend that business owners who, especially if they've never used it or if they've only dabbled in it a little bit, what are some tools that you would recommend that they check out?
So I'm going to talk about a couple. I'm going to actually let you talk about some of the content just because being a writer, this is what your craft is and your career is. You were even hesitant because, what bothers us, I think, the most is that AI will never replace a true writer, journalist. That's what your background is. But there's tools that can enhance, and you talked on a couple of them. But AI analytics, for one, can help find patterns humans miss, leading to 25 to 35% better targeting. If you're really looking to analyze a report in an Excel spreadsheet, 62% of businesses see positive ROI within just 3 months just because the tools that they're using, something like a Claude, something like a Chat GPT. And by the way, I'm going to tell you, the paid ones, there's a reason why you get a better results from it, right? So which ones are actually worth it? Right off the bat, I would say if you are not using somebody like our company to help you write content, you said it best. We know when people are using an AI tool, especially a free one, to write their social, right?
It's very obvious, at least to me. And that might be because I'm used to it. But I think once you start playing with it, you get used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. So for me, I prefer Claude. A couple of our reps, I've used Chat GPT. I've never used actually the paid version of Chat. I don't know if you have. Grammarly is great. What was the one? Say again the name of the one you used to edit the podcast?
Descript.
Descript. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of our platforms that we work with, they're starting to incorporate AI right into them.
Yes.
So we use a reporting platform called TapClicks, and they have a version of AI, but it's early stages. Someday, I think it will be very enhanced, and I might not need my paid version. Or my hope is they connect with a Chat GPT directly or a Claude directly so that I'm getting that same service all in one dashboard.
Oh, 100%.
So my suggestion of what tools to use, first and foremost, I would step away from, don't run right out and try to find one yourself. I would look to the partners or vendors that you use as a small business and see what's incorporated in your CRM, anything like that. The other thing, what I would tell you to do, I would go to a free version of Chat and I'd say, hi, Mr. Chat, I am a plumber and I would like to know what AI tools would benefit me for using to help my business.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's going to tell you. Unlike Google, that only will tell you to use Google. Like if you try to ask what different analytics work better than Google Analytics, Google is not going to tell you that. But if you go into Claude and ask the difference between Claude and ChatGPT and the pros and cons, it actually tells me the exact, because it surfs the web.
Yep.
So you can go in and tell who your business is and what you would like to use it for, or ask a chat tool to tell you what some are the more recommended ones to help with the things you need help with.
Yep.
Does that sound crazy? I can sit here and name them off, but I don't know your specific business or what you're using it for.
Well, and also every business has different pain points, right? Even in our business, the sales team, the campaign team, the content team, all three teams are using maybe sometimes similar tools, but also different tools, but we're dealing with different pain points,
Yes.
right? We're dealing with different use cases. I think a large language model tool like ChatGPT or Claude is something that almost anybody could use for anything word related, right? Which for a lot of us, that's a lot of what we do. And let's be clear, that's what a large language model tool is. It's just generating language. It's been fed everything on the internet through, whatever date the companies that own Claude and ChatGPT have fed it in. But you can have it search the web as well. And it's taking that and reorganizing that information. Sometimes it's going to be incorrect.
Yes.
You have to be careful
Yes.
with that. You always want to fact check anything that you get from a large language model tool, especially if it's free.
Yep.
But it can help you get started. We have tools that are incorporating like Llama and ChatGPT and Claude and things like that too. The other tool that we use a lot on the social team that they're just announcing within the next week or two a bunch of new AI tools is Canva.
Yeah.
And Canva is really doubling down on AI. They are doing some great things.
I think Canva for small businesses is right off the bat is a really important tool to have.
It's phenomenal. One of the things that we're going to be using a lot that they incorporated it last year, but it's just getting better, is captions on videos for reels. So if you have a reel of somebody talking, it'll create a caption for you automatically, and then you can edit it and edit the colors. But now they're going to automate the animation of the text, so it highlights the text as you're talking.
Right.
I think that's super cool. Makes it way easier to read, way more compelling to watch. Image generation, background generation, fixing the lighting on things, and even doing editing.
ChatGPT is actually expanding on their imaging and stuff like that. That's why I said that's a little bit different than what I'm dealing with Claude. But Canva is a great one in my mind, and we'll talk about this a little later on. But something that small businesses really need to be careful on is the copyright issues of things. And so we'll talk about paid version versus free. But if you're trying to post something on your Google page and you just go to Google Images and use that image in a post, that's a big no-no.
Oh, huge.
I mean, you will.
Violation.
Yeah, it's a huge copyright violation.
So we talked about some specific tools. We talked about kind of the ways that we're using it. And we talked about how in every business, they're going to have different use cases, right? What are some general ways that any business owner can use AI right now? Like if you're not doing this, you're leaving money on the table and you're wasting time.
Yep. Listen, I am a get to the point, don't waste my time. So I'm all about practical solutions that actually can move the needle. I said it earlier, that's our theme this year. We are running, not walking.
Yeah.
And this is the way life is anymore. I feel like since 2020 and COVID, we've all been drinking from a fire hose.
Oh, yeah.
This is to help us with the things that we want help with, right? So number one, customer service automation. Set up a simple AI assistant that can handle that basic stuff that so you can focus on the harder stuff, right? Some very basic things. As simple as we were sitting in our meeting last month for the executive team, and we realized that we need an email policy of how long things sit in, we had people that had stuff from 10 years ago. Something as simple as we left that meeting and we were talking about we're going to have to incorporate an email policy. And I was giving my example, and I said, every November, go back and delete anything in my sent that was 13 months older. I delete out of my sent. I only keep 13 months back. And so I went back and sat down, and within minutes, I typed in what we need. We need an email policy. Here's some parameters. Here's some suggestions. What would that look like for a business like us? And spit it up, sent it off to Brad and said, here you go. When you're ready, review this with our IT. At least you have a template to follow. 100%. It saved time other than somebody trying to create it from nothing.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good example.
Yes.
Number two, you already kind of touched on this, content assistance. It can help, but keep this in mind. AI can help what I would say skilled writers by suggesting outlines, by reviewing outlines, by brainstorming, right? Research points. You are not asking they are not supposed to write it for you for a published piece.
Correct.
But it can help you enhance what you're doing. So that's kind of a tricky topic, but I want to encourage it can save the time just like your team finds it for 100%. Those kind of things.
So I always think of this, if we are not taking the time to write something, then why would a person take the time to read it? So it's really important that a person is writing the content. But when it comes to idea generation, brainstorming, getting you started, sometimes in the writing process, every writer knows this, you're just staring at the wall blankly and waiting for an idea to strike. If I could ask Claude, hey, this is what my topic is, give me 10 different ways to start this blog post, and I like one of those ways, and then I write the next 600 words, that's golden. Or I'm struggling with brainstorming. Give me 50 ideas. Yeah, some of them might be repetitive and a lot of them might be bunk, but there's going to be a gem in there somewhere.
Well, and think about it this way. I went to school at one point thinking I wanted to be a journalist. I started my college career with writing, and I love to write. Brainstorming in itself, when I used to write, I'd freeform, write it out, edit it down. Freeform, ideas, chunk it down. This is what's happening now. AI is doing some of that for you. It can work both ways. Right? And those are the ways you have to think about it. Another one, and I wrote this one down because I have been using this myself. But so many of our businesses are worried about what their competitor is doing, right? Competitor analysis. Federated Digital, for the first time in a really long time, there's more digital agencies than there's ever been. I still know that there's an FDS difference. We stand apart, but I want to know what my competitor's doing. So you can use, as a business owner, competitive analysis. You can have AI monitor competitor social fields and websites and spot trends. All of these things to have a better handle on it. There's tools out there utilizing that. So if that's important to you, check into it a little bit more, do some research. Really, the biggest no-brainer is ask AI to analyze your customer reviews and feedback and find some patterns, right, that humans might miss. You might discover that minor website issue was mentioned 42% in reviews. Well, you probably should fix that.
100%. Well, and like being able to scan data and scan giant things of text and analyze it, it's not that we are incapable of doing it. It's that it takes so long.
It takes so time.
And think about those tasks. That was one of the things that we talked about in one of the first meetings of the AI committee, is that like we think about these tasks that are taking us so long, and what can we do? How can we use these tools to make those tasks much faster? So let's now talk about, we talked about the tools. Now let's talk about what we kind of hinted at earlier, the legal ramifications, especially when it comes to free tools, paid tools, copyright, privacy. What are some potential ramifications or pitfalls that business owners need to be aware of? So
as a company, we want to be proactive, not reactive to any of our employees using it, right? So we had to create our own AI policy, particularly. And think of it this way. It's a copyright confusion out there right now. 68% of business owners don't realize that AI-generated content based on copyright works could be very problematic. It could really come back to bite you. One of the things that we had to realize is if you really break it down, especially on our radio side, we cannot be using a free tool to anything that's published, anything that's on air, you know, and that's really where I'd go with this. You always want to review AI. There always has to be a human editor, right? Would you not agree?
100%.
You could really get in trouble if you are just taking it and running with it. That would get you in a lot of trouble. And we've all sent those emails at some point in our life. We're like, oh, I wish I hadn't hit send. Do not produce AI content and send it out without editing it. And by the way, do not use free version and post it to your social, because there can be copyright issues. Anything that's published. Because it's a large language model, it could be lifting that language verbatim from somebody that you don't know. And they could search the web, find your content, and then hit you with a lawsuit. 100% could. And keep in mind, AI makes things up in a sense where I catch mistakes. Claude actually has a little reminder there that Claude makes mistakes. Which I love. And I'll catch him and then I'll say, no, that's not right, this. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I made that mistake. Like, you know, that we're friends.
Claude, I love that Claude apologizes and also like.
And then I say please. And
it'll say, oh, I love creating content for this, you know, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. So again, fact check everything before it goes public. And really, I said it again, the practical advice is have a human review all AI content before it goes public. That is blogs, that is social, that is newsletters. Copy on your website.
That is something you need to look at. And first and foremost, to cover yourself, make sure that you are using a free version or you're using a paid version, not a free version. Because then Claude covers that because they are backing things up. That is one way. And I would encourage every business owner to have an internal AI policy.
All right. So let's wrap this up and bring it back to the topic of the podcast. We always love to talk about ROI. For business owners counting every marketing dollar, how does artificial intelligence actually improve their bottom line?
So here's the thing. Time is money. I mean, that's as cliche as I can get. But this is what gets me excited to talk to my clients to help them. I'm not selling anything AI here, people. I'm trying to help our partners out there and teach them about the things that we have found, the tools. It makes all the difference. I was working with a client, a big car dealer that we work with, Maple Hill, and I was telling Abby about Claude and said, this is what it's doing for me and this is what it could do for you. And I gave her some suggestions. The next time I came in a month later, she's like, oh my God, it was a game changer. It made all the difference in the world. So what I did there from an ROI standpoint is if she can save time, that gives her time to do more things in her marketing role that she needs to do.
100%.
Right? The world that we live in now really is, imagine being a small business and having the analytical firepower of a Fortune 500 company. That's where we are at. You can stand above your competition if you're using it. That will bring you back ROI. Cost savings are real. Companies report an average of 30% cost reduction through this type of automation. AI optimized campaigns can deliver a 27% higher conversion rate. Same ad spend, way more customers. Okay, so these are quick little numbers that I could talk about. I'm really going to bring the ROI back to time is money.
Yep.
If you can save time on the things that are bogging you down, it gives you time to focus on what we like to call our big rocks.
Yes.
Get away from the sand and the pebbles and focus on your big rocks, which will always bring you ROI back, bring it back to the bottom line.
I think that is excellent advice.
Yep. Well, thanks, Krystal. Appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All right.
Shannon.
And thanks to our listeners for tuning in and joining us for our next episode of Digital Marketing ROI.
You've been listening to Digital Marketing ROY from Federated Digital Solutions. Do you have an idea for a future episode or a burning digital marketing question? Text ROY to 45364 to get a link where you can share your idea. Subscribe to get new episodes every other Thursday, plus Tip Tuesday insights every week.
Podcasts by Federated Media.